me, I'm part of the school of thought that football now is better. Now these days, born here, born, way better than the football that we're seeing in the past. And I'll explain. I'll use the Brazilian case study as my reason, and I'll get straight into it. See, just as done, Brazil in the Copa America have lost on penalties to Uruguay, and the conversation is simple. Uruguay side coached by Marcelo Bielsa. Very, very difficult team to play against if you are going to play against Marcelo Bielsa's Uruguay. You know that you are in for a very high intensity game. You know that you are in for a team that will make it almost near impossible for you to beat them on the press, on the counter attack, and all of that. And if you watch these Brazilian teams, when they play against top side, they play against teams that press them very aggressively. Against teams, some money teams, some boss, some nice football against them. They struggle. They struggle. Look at the likes of Vinicius Jr., look at the likes of Rodrigo Goes, who are the club side on here, almost near perfect in terms of the quality that they give you on and off the ball, the ability to single-handedly dictate games. But when they wear the Brazilian Seleção jersey, they don't seem to be able to do the things that they do on a regular day for Real Madrid and for their club side. So for me, it's very important. And McCann several times I see. So what's your Brazil team now? Brazil naturally over there, they love the samba way of playing, and essentially it's about say they will live freely on the football pitch, play with skill, play with some panache, play with the fact some express your on and off the ball. No? Any idea Brazil for something. But the game has evolved so well to the extent that even the smallest of European teams are able to organize themselves defensively. And money here ding for the best teams to break them down. And I'll give you two examples. Look at the Slovakian team. Look at the Romanian team. Look at the Turkish team. For me, one of the best teams there, the Turkish team, in terms of defensive organization in the Euros thus far. If Brazil meets them in the World Cup, it will be difficult for them to negotiate a win. Because Turkey are very, very stubborn. And they have an Italian manager under Vincenzo Montella, and not sure defensive organization with your. You may be forced to try and isolate them 1v1 in wide areas, but they won't allow that. They'll be aggressive. Look at somebody like Fede Kadioglu, who for me has been the best left back in the Euros so far. The quality that he has on the ball, the quality without the ball, the aggression to step into defenses and tackles and make sure that they win them. For me, these things are the differences, the small differences between teams like Brazil that have star-studded players, that have quality players, that have players that can turn over games on their own. Even watch when Brazil went to play against Croatia in the World Cup. When Brazil had all the star names, but in Croatia were very, very resolute to the game, to the length, and then qualified ahead of Brazil. And that tells you the quality. So for me, until Brazil can find a proper manager, very, very good progressive manager, that can manage these talents that they have, in terms of how the modern game should be played in recent times, I don't see how Brazil are going to go for it. It's going to be a very difficult one for them. I think that in South America, for me, the best team to see is our Colombia team. It's only sad that Colombia are going to play against Uruguay. Colombia have won 25 games unbeaten. They are going to go head-to-head against Uruguay. The Uruguayan team versus the Colombian team for a place against Argentina in the final. Because I believe that Argentina will beat Canada. They will beat Canada and qualify to the finals of the Copa America. And see, we wait to see. So Vinicius Jr. is out. I don't know what that means for Ballon d'Or conversation, especially now that Jude Bellingham is still in the conversation. Now it puts it right in the balance. Jude Bellingham has scored some goals. England are in a semi-final. How far can they go? If England wins the final of the Copa America, then the conversation becomes open. In as much as Jude was excellent in the Champions League, it leaves it very, very, very wide open if Jude wins another trophy and adds to his cabinets after the Champions League and then the lead that he won with Vinicius Jr. So wait to see how all of that goes. A Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Is not subscribed to the channel. I treat you, so you subscribe to the channel and then turn on notification. There's a lot of transfer conversation in here. So subscribe to the channel and then turn on notification in there. First of all, before we get in, as we start the transfer conversation, see, Manchester United are very clear in what they want to do and they are planning in terms of their transfer market. And I think that for me, I am very, very excited about what Manchester United want to do. Why am I saying this? So if you look at Manchester United in the last few years, especially with Eric Ten Hag on manager, they've gone on to buy players without no technical person sanctioning or asking questions of Eric Ten Hag's job. Into the likes of Anthony, Leandro Martinez, Ten Hag came in and says, I want that player, I want this player, he'll be good for me. Andre Onana, I want that player, he'll be good for me, and stuff like that. And they went on and they got him. But United have now in your almost sporting structure and together. Dana Shaw, Jason Wilcox, Omar Berada, who's in charge of the day-to-day running of the club. There's Jason Wilcox as well. Now they've brought on Christopher Viville to come and be in charge of recruitment and technical side of the job. Was a sporting director now becomes Dana Shaw. Then a technical, what's the name? Technical director in Jason Wilcox in there. The structure is there. So now, what does that mean? And only chair say, CC, Manchester United will not be allowed to just go onto the markets to go and buy any player at all. Whichever player that they want to buy, it has to be sanctioned by the sporting directorship team. It has to be sanctioned by Jason Wilcox. It has to be sanctioned by Dana Schwartz. And of course, first of all, Christopher Viville have to have a look at it as well. Else, that isn't going to happen. And that's why they are where they are now. And if you look at the players that Manchester United have been linked to, one, there's Matthias de Ligt, there's Jason, there's Gerard Brathwaite, there's also Joshua Zeki in there as well. If you look at all of these players, are players that Eric Ten Hag wants them, but he has to now make a case for if they fit the sporting structure of Manchester United, and for the technical directors to also accept that they are players that are fitting how Manchester United want to play going forward and the future of Manchester United before they go. And I think that for me, I'm very excited because this is where United has to get to. This is the point where United has to get to in terms of buying of players, like how the best players, the best teams in the world are doing now over there. We wait to see how all of that goes in there in terms of the players that Eric Ten Hag wants to buy together with the ownership of Manchester United will agree in all of that. So we wait to see. But the update is about Matthias de Ligt, and Manchester United wants him. They want to make sure that they buy him. So there is a link between Eric Ten Hag and their brand friend Joshua Zeki. There's a connection to their time at Ajax Amsterdam. There was Joshua Zeki, knows why Ajax Amsterdam. Eric Ten Hag, a head coach in 2017, 2022 before about Manchester United. During that tenure, Joshua Zeki, a promising youngster, was part of the Ajax Youth Academy. Although Zeki eventually moved to FC Bayern Munich to pursue a professional career. His development at Ajax under the club system and philosophies, which Eric Ten Hag oversaw, played a crucial role in his early career. Also, the management that manages Eric Ten Hag is the same management that manages our branch friend Joshua Zeki. So there is that link. So until Manchester United, until Eric Ten Hag can get a full look into Joshua Zeki, the team's sporting directors, the team's technical directors have to go back and then agree that he's a player that fits a sporting structure and not just another player that Eric Ten Hag is bringing on. So as it stands now, throughout last week, there were still meetings between Eric Ten Hag and then he has spoken to Joshua Zeki on the phone. He has spoken to his entourage, spoken to his team. They've told him their plans. But now Eric Ten Hag has to meet his Manchester United sporting team and then sell the idea about Joshua Zeki to them and then hope that they go on and then agree so that he can bring his young boy who now plays for FC Bologna. McCann several times said Bologna needs money. Bologna, they need money. It's a money business no more. Same for the Ricardo Calafiori. They're still it is pending with Arsenal still looking at negotiating a deal for Abrante Fernando Ricardo Calafiori. They are looking at somewhere in the region of 150 million for Ricardo Calafiori. As and when that can be done, it's going to be a good one for them. But we wait to see how that can be done. So Manchester United still holding towards Joshua Zeki, his agent, and then the contract terms, and then the salary and the commission. Eric Ten Hag spoke to Zeki on phone on several times. United are discussing him in there. So apart from that, also Manchester United airship player in front of Matthias de Ligt, an important centre back. And then now United are increasingly confident of Matthias de Ligt deal as a player that has been cleared with his agent that he only wants to move to Manchester United. Of course, Eric Ten Hag has also worked with Matthias de Ligt before in their days at Ajax Amsterdam when they played in the Champions League, in the Eredivisie, in terms of the quality of Matthias de Ligt. I can several times say, see, if you want centre backs that are very good in terms of box defending, Centre backs that can put their bodies on the line. Centre backs that are good in terms of stepping up their defense and reactive defending their area. And at age 24, Matthias de Ligt is one of the most experienced centre backs that you get in the world. So definitely you look at Matthias de Ligt and then you say, okay, fine, this guy can definitely be a huge guy. Let us wait to see him. Let's wait to see him. Manchester United, one team, personal terms is not an issue. Now the structure of the payment has to be done within Manchester United and FC Bayern Munich. Personal terms almost done. Talks going on between clubs for a possible deal. The structure of the deal as to how much to pay, when they'll pay, what's next, and all of those things is what is being discussed now between the clubs for Abrantia Yefreno Matthias de Ligt to Manchester United in terms of all the players that are going on in that conversation. See, by now you have come to understand how the transfer market operates. And the reason it's here now, teams be and your margin say those splash money on 26, 27-year-old superstars because it's not sustainable. The last time I was telling this story, see, the truth of the matter is that Premier League revenue is going down, not just in English Premier League. France have already suffered. Spain has an issue versus Spain's 1:1 ratio rule and all of those things. Italy has that issue. Now, FIFA, UEFA, and then the parents, the country mother bodies meant to make sure that clubs are very sustainable. They spend within their means. You don't just spend money to go and buy players for buying seat. You make revenue, then you spend within your revenue. If you make less than revenue, then you're definitely not going to be allowed to spend just so you become sustainable. So it's the reason why Swasha, most of the clubs in the world now, when Madrid started this years ago, people did not understand, are going for young players with very high ceiling, very high potential. They take a risk on them, they bank their hopes on them and hope that they succeed in the near future, which is very, very important. Very, very important. Now, why am I saying this? It is clear that this week again, Chelsea have gone back to Atletico Madrid. They've asked about a young striker, a friend Omorodion. Now, Chelsea going back to Omorodion is very simple. They believe highly in the potential of Omorodion. Chelsea for GD said, so fast strikers at a very young age in terms of that quality. Players will be to deliver at the highest level in terms of potential, physical ability, the ball striking ability, the ability to create separation and run the box and create chances for yourself, even when you play in teams that don't create enough chances for you. Then Omorodion is one of those class of players from a centre back point of view. And then see, they are doing everything possible to make sure they get a job now. Again, this week, when you say Napoli for not contacted Chelsea, and Aurelio De Laurentiis already after say Antonio Conte Beccaci said Napoli has a deal or a pact with Abranches and Victor Osimhen for him to leave the club. De Laurentiis has now through his media men made everybody know say they are willing to lower their asking price for Victor Osimhen. Now Chelsea are still not looking that way again. The reason why Chelsea are really looking at the way of Victor Osimhen is simple. I've given it to you. Still, the financial commitment in doing a deal for Abranches and Victor Osimhen is too high for Chelsea Football Club. They believe that if you are paying 150, 130, 121, even now at a reduced price now for Abranches and Victor Osimhen at his age, it's not sustainable one. One injury away and you're having a clutching to straws. So now go for a young, durable centre forward that have the same player. It is what you're now in the market. Play a beer if you're a senior player, or a blues from you, or in the transfer market, or a big guy, or a big name. What's the Chelsea penny piano? Immediately, what the Chelsea recruitment team now does that they begin to look for the young region. When I say a region, it means that it's more like a prodigy, a player cast in the same shape as that player now. Ubia can want maybe a younger version of him. Then they say, okay, now let's look at this younger version. What attributes does he have more than this older guy? Can he be better than the older guy? You be team players now be team man. If you bring these players into our team, what time can they be better than this older guy? Does he have the same skill set? Are the older guys age like this boy? Was he able to do the things that this boy is able to do now? Can we look at those things? If that can be done, they go into him. And nothing I would say in the last few weeks, or the last few days, it has been clear to be so Chelsea have agreed a deal for Abranches, your friend Renato Viega. Renato Viega and Chelsea did go sign, and I was explaining before for the purpose of people who did not watch that video. And yes, the boy is exceptional than Ricardo Calafiori, or he's heads and shoulders ahead of Ricardo Calafiori. You know, Chelsea believe fully, say the potential of our brand here friend Renato Viega is on the next level. And they believe, say, Abra Basel Fokoto Renato Viega, who was a player for Sporting 4, although he was on loan at Augsburg. No more Tony Babisho would team to replace Ricardo Calafiori because they believe, say, in terms of physical structure, he is a 6'3" center back or a fullback or a DM, whatever you want to call him, versatile player or a children. When they believe, say, even with his frame and in height, he's excellent in ball carry, to me carry ball, picture ball, carries the ball in the middle of the park and breaks lines with it. When they believe, say, he has a higher and wider passing range from the back at left center back area if he's playing there. When they believe that this is a player that physically can suit the demands of the English Premier League. When they believe that at age 20, this boy has the ability to look like even a 25-year-old, and they put it in the perspective, say, he Calafiori struggled as his age, but this boy is playing well. If they give him an enabling environment, give him the good coaching, bring him into a team of huge winners, and they give him the ability to compete, maybe the best will come out of this boy called Ricardo Viega. And let us not spend 50 million. Let us not waste time bargaining with team my friend in Bologna in trying to get these players. But Bologna saw and I say they will not lower the asking price for Ricardo Calafiori, who is quote unquote a finished player. Finished as said on a born boy, he has reached his limit. But young Kuyechi, for young boy, Oba, he has the potential. Pay just 14 million thereabouts with add-ons. 14 million, then the neighbor we can compete and he's going to be a player that's going to be at the top. It is the same reason why when even Victor Osimhen's name comes up, still Chelsea will look away regardless of the fact Osimhen has a high number of goals that he's scoring. Osimhen deliver at the highest level. Osimhen goals largely. Osimhen a brilliant player. Osimhen abo in the Champions League. He is a top player for Napoli. He has won the Scudetto. He was the Coppa Campanieri winner in Italian Serie A 2 seasons ago. But they still look at the young version, the young reagent of our brand friend Victor Osimhen. They go to Barca and they say that, oh, there is a boy that is in this team, your friend Marc Guiu. And now they look at Marc Guiu and they say, this is a boy, only African, but very physical, 6'1". He's a player that has some of the technical developments of the La Masia. Anybody that follows the job of the La Masia, that knows football, that speaks about football, that watches football, knows how La Masia is one of the academies in the world that trains the most technical of players in the world. This is undebatable. The boy is coming from La Masia, high technical ability. He is a boy that is in the same level of Lamine Yamal, is in the same level with Pedri Gavi, the same class in La Masia, and he was promoted in there. Didn't get a place in the Barca team last season because of course, Robert Lewandowski that was in the team, and also a player that Barcelona went to buy from Brazil called Victor Roque, who really was not making him get some game time. Now, when Chelsea saw this boy called Guiu, boy Otimhen on his debut a goal for team friend Barcelona, just a few minutes of coming on. They say then we don't need to waste too much money on Jonathan David. We don't need to waste too much money on this top boy somewhere costing 20-30 million. If we can get a young Jonathan David in a person of Guiu for 5 million, then let us go and get Guiu. And that's why Chelsea, so what's your transfer now? They've gotten Guiu. And it is a profile of center forward that Chelsea aiming. He's different from what Nicolas Jackson gives you. And mind you, I've said it several times that what Chelsea are looking for in the markets now is the different profile. That is why immediately when the Julian Alvarez deal came up, people started talking about it. I said it here several times that Chelsea will never buy Julian Alvarez. Yes, he scores goals. Yes, he's prolific. But that profile of an attacker, Chelsea has it in Nkunku. Chelsea even believe that by extension, that is what Nicolas Jackson will grow to become. They believe that if Kupama can give them those goals, then they don't need to waste another money on a diminutive player who is not physical and will come and stay live and will compete in this same area with the quality players that they have in there for 80 million. It did not make sense, and they won't run away from that. And if you look at the Marc Guiu conversation for 5 million, very, very physical player, and even if it's Chelsea, if it doesn't work out for them, it can't go back for 5 million. How much will they sell Marc Guiu? Even if you sell him for 5 million, another 5 million, you make profit of him. And Chelsea know that this is an excellent deal that they are getting from Marc Guiu. It's the same for Kieran Dewsbury. They wanted something of that nature, and that is why Chelsea are in the conversation with our brand friend Samuel Omorodion. Until last week, Chelsea went back to Atletico Madrid and they told them that, hey, we want this Samuel Omorodion boy. We believe strongly that this is a boy that fits our project that we want to do. But see, The reason why this has been so hard for Chelsea to pull over, and is that this boy, before Chelsea went to the table to go and have any discussions at all with Atletico Madrid, teams like AS Roma or Italian Serie A had contacted them, and they've said they also wanted the boy. So Atletico Madrid have realized that a lot of big teams in the world now are looking at their young star boy Samuel Omorodion, who is very excellent, very good holder play, runs the channels very well, reads the game so well, able to create separation. He's able to create chances for himself in times where it is difficult to get chances to be created. In there, when he was playing alone with Deportivo Alaves, where chances were not created for him that much. They've gotten to the point where they know, say, boy, someone shiny, no more turn at a chicken fee, Chelsea. The boy will become a superstar and he will lose out. So they are trying to right now, get a boy to sign a contract extension. In the contract extension, then they will put a release clause of around 60 to 80 million in the boy's contract. Again, they know that Memphis Depay is leaving their club. Alvaro Morata, any out and out striker like Omorodion. Maybe they believe next season they want to give the boys some chance to play in the Spanish La Liga for Atletico Madrid. And Chelsea hold long talks. In fact, last week it went deep into the night with Chelsea's European compatriot representative being Joe Shields in there, having discussions with Abrante friend Samuel Omorodion, and more talks have been held with Samuel Omorodion, hoping that Chelsea can get a deal done in there. And exactly after all of these deals, in terms of Samuel Omorodion, he remains appreciated and liked by Chelsea. Atletico still do not want to sell, like I mentioned. Chelsea are keeping the contract open in case Atletico change their mind. They're pushing them. They're giving them more possibilities in there for Victor Osimhen. The story is clear. Antonio Conte wants Romelu Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku officially is a player of Chelsea. Chelsea do not want Victor Osimhen. They are looking at the younger version of Victor Osimhen. Until they've told Napoli, say, do a deal. Come, the release clause for Abrante Romelu Lukaku is around 35 million with add-ons. Pay the money. Let Romelu Lukaku go in there. We are not ready to do any deal and exchange any player in there for Abrante Napoli for Victor Osimhen and then Abrante Romelu Lukaku. So make sure you go in there and then do a deal. So Chelsea are waiting. They don't want to do any player swap. They don't want to do anything in terms of going to get Victor Osimhen. They would rather want Abrante Samuel Omorodion to get back into the team, go on loan. What you team on when Abrante and Marc, whoever impresses the manager will play in the summer. The other person will go on loan. Then you now get the chance to grow in there. Now that's the question that everybody has asked: do Chelsea have the time to see these players grow and become top talents? And that is going to be another waste of time where Chelsea swamps on a lot of players in the world, but never really to get the best out of them. What you see how all of those things do pan out. But yesterday, Cole Palmer again, very, very integral. Cole Palmer, very integral. See, Cole Palmer said it, that he's not going to miss any penalty. And yesterday, in the most high point pressure moment of England game, Cole Palmer walked up, picked up the ball, and then walked straight to the penalty box, and then put the ball down, and then took the pressure off everybody in England blue and white. The Three Lions, he set the pace for them, slotting in that penalty, and that's what Cole Palmer is. I think that after everything that has been said about Gary Southgate, yes, structurally he has his issues, but I think one of the most important things that Gary Southgate has done is the ability to allow these individual players to play by themselves, for them to thrive with respect to their individual talents, which has been very good. And I think it's one of those chaotic parts of the game where you allow your best players to get the best out of themselves and not restrict them so much in terms of zones and positional play and stuff like that, which is very, very important. And yesterday, that was it in the Euros. Of course, Netherlands also played some very, very good stuff. The fact that Netherlands were able to play so well and get a best, come from behind, get a goal from Stefan de Vrij, an experienced Stefan de Vrij, and another goal from Cody Gakpo makes it very good. So the Euros quarterfinals is done. The semi-finals is in here for us to see. England have a big race against Netherlands, and then Spain have a big one against France. Who is going to win? There are four managers that like to play with chaos, that play with a lot of defensive play against one manager, which is De La Fuente, and then the Spanish team in there. So we wait to see who gets to the final. The next few days, we'll have all of those discussions in the Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you've not subscribed to the channel, it's imperative. And subscribe to the channel, pause the video, go back, subscribe to the channel. Make sure say you do turn on notification. In the notification turn, do choose all. I will see you. Bye bye.